This is Distance from Center. He's Trent. I'm John, and we're here to talk to you about the Last Chance Qualifier.
LCQ, LCQ, LCQ. John, this year, this tournament, it materialized the way you always wanted to. It was absolutely incredible. Often it's just kind of the person that you really assumed you already thought was in the Masters. Oh, they came through the LCQ. You had no idea. You know, like for instance, like John Travers. Who would ever imagine John Travers isn't pre-qualified for the Masters? No, whatever. This year was exactly what the LCQ is meant for.
Well, let's sidebar here for just a second. I don't know if John Travers is skiing at Masters yet or not.
Well,
Masters takes top how many in the world?
I can tell you. So I'll speak this over really quickly. Okay. Like right now, John is the first person out, but I mean, with Nate Smith under suspension, I'm pretty sure John's going to be in.
I hope so. I assume so. But on the Masters website, it still shows Nate, and this is completely at Nautique's discretion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's strange to me, given that we're the Monday before the Masters, and at this moment he's suspended. But I guess they're hoping for an 11th hour, given that he's a Nautique athlete. I'm not really sure where that's at the moment. I think John's going to be in. I was just using him as an example, but this tournament was chock full of wild cards getting in, and that's kind of what you hope for from a last chance qualifier.
Absolutely. So talk to me about Pagose.
So there it is, right? So the men's cut was 441, and if you don't know the way the LCQ works, last chance qualifier, you have to run the minimum score, which is I think, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly where that score comes from, but I think it is the last person in. I think it's their best score. And if that's not right, it's something really close to that. But regardless, it was 441 this year for the guys. Robert Pagose, 4 at 41, and won the tournament. So if you remember back to last year, Pagose came in through the LCQ, and then won the prelims, and was top seed into the final. So here we have Robert. He's coming back. Last year he was new to the Masters, had never been there, never skied on that big of a stage. This year he's got 1 year's experience under his belt, and it would be hard not to put some money on Pagose, or at least be rooting for him. So I know I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, for sure. So by the way, I think the cutoff actually is 3. So he exceeded.
It was 3. It was 3. You're right.
Right.
It was 3. You have to at least get the minimum. Plus, you must win the tournament outside of unless you can get beat by someone who's already qualified. No. Yes, right. He exceeded the score, and he won. Pagose going to his second Masters in 2 years.
So I should know this, but so Howley got 3 at 41 at LCQ. Is he in Masters or not?
He's got to be, right?
I don't know.
I'll have to check.
Okay, it's embarrassing.
Well, yeah, maybe, but you already said that the list on the online isn't that accurate. But anyway,
right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was just so blown away by Pagose. That's where I stopped.
And then the other big news in men's slalom, which is not happy news, is Chris Parrish missing 39 2 rounds in a row, as he did at Swiss. He is potentially a Mount Rushmore athlete. He's one of the greatest slalom skiers in the history of the sport.
Yes.
He's struggling. It's hard to watch. CP, if you see this video, man, we love you. We want you to ski better.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a real bummer. But, it's... I've been speaking with him, and, he's on the upswing. He's charging.
Right.
He's trying to figure out a new piece of equipment, and
right.
It's not working for him at the moment. But, I mean, the greatest... of the very greatest skiers of all time. If anyone, CP could run 41 on any of the top brands. He will figure it out, and he'll figure it out soon.
And then that brings us to women's slalom, kind of a happy story. Allie Nicholson, 3:39, and that slides her through.
Yeah, exactly. It was so she won the tournament, and she got the minimum score. And I mean, it was again. this is what you hope for from the LCQ. So here's a girl, she's done her share of junior masters. She would have been off everyone's radar to be the person to get in. So as Robert showed last year, that's scary, man. That's someone playing on house money, so to speak. So that was really cool. Cool girl, incredible skier. It surprised a lot of people, and it's like that's the type of story you want to get behind if you're a fan of this sport like I am.
And that brings us to women's jump. Jacinta Carroll tied the world record at 60.3 meters, or
198.
197.8. If you want to get technical about it.
I don't.
Okay, 198. Amazing, consistent, but she is as dominant in the sport of women's jumping as anyone has ever been in any of the events.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Right.
Like, Jarrett Llewellyn was there coming back from injury, and one of the greatest jumpers of all time. He and Jacinta actually tied in the first round, and not disparaging against Jarrett, because he's coming back from massive injuries, and he ended up going close to 210 in the second round. But it was just, she's that good. She's that kind of good.
Right. And then men's jump, completely whack and out of the blue. Daniello, whose last name I will not even try to pronounce, from Ukraine.
Filchenko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Had a previous best of 205. Goes out in the finals and goes 228 off the 5.5 foot ramp, which is just unfathomable whack.
You don't get that big of a personal best.
No.
That I'm trying to think of like comparable to slalom. So 204. So he was, just say he was that would put him at like maybe a 4:39 kind of guy.
Right.
And then he goes out and runs 4:41 if we were going to compare these two, or 3.5 41. So it's just like
huge.
Holy crap, So incredibly exciting. And again, like, you couldn't have scripted this any better. This is why the LCQ was born, and this is what we hope for every year. And we got it in spades this year. Exciting. So yeah, really, really cool. He's a tricker who just bested the entire field outside of Ryan Dodd that day. So
right, he tricked like 11.5, 11.6, something like that, which is near world record tricker too.
100%. And I would think, like, this is way outside of my area expertise, but I would think that if the jump and trick scores had been in the same round, even with his deep 38, he would have been awful close to a world record in terms of the overall event, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'd never really heard of this kid. My bad. Obviously, now one of the best overall skiers in the world.
Yeah. Just from following collegiate stuff, it was absolutely someone I knew, but he was, in my mind, he was just the tricker. So right. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Obviously, Travers knocked it out of the park and had everything perfect. But you couldn't have. This is like a gift to the Masters Committee, because now we have three stories that everyone's going to be following really, really closely. Super excited. I think the only interesting thing is going to be, like, let's see. Traditionally, the men would all jump on 6 foot. I'm not sure if anyone has ever jumped 5.5 at the Masters outside of the junior stuff. So, and the women, but I would think he's going to have to go up to a 6 foot ramp, but I don't know.
I don't know either, and there's a new rule that's lengthened the ramp and kind of shallowed the angle, so maybe the transition is not that crazy.
Yeah.
Back in the dark ages, when horses pulled boats down the lake, and I was a jumper, the move from 5.5 to 6 was crazy huge. I don't know if that's something that he can wrap his head around in a week or not.
Incredible. So there's one more level to the story. So.
Right.
Masters a few days away, so make sure you're watching. We'll be watching. We're gonna try and cover this thing as closely as we can.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll talk about this again after Masters. Thank you, Trent.
Later.